Today we'll cover the steps to paint the 4 kings from the 4 Kings expansion. If you like this tutorial, you will find much more Dark Souls content, other board game unboxing, how to play videos and reviews on this channel. So if you're new, welcome and consider subscribing to always receive the latest updates. I try to make my miniatures the closest as possible from the game, and as you can see, as you play in the dark room that is the map of this encounter, the 4 kings might look like just shades of black and white. Looking closer to some concept arts, we can see that the horns and the hilt of the sword has more yellow shades than the full white of the floating parts of the kings. To start this project you need Abaddon Black, Dawnstone, Longbeard Grey, Corax White, Administratum Grey, Wraithbone, Null Oil, Black Primer. Speaking of black primer, that will be our first step. I detailed the process of preparing the miniatures in another video, so don't forget to check it out before you start painting. For the 4 Kings base, I'll be using the Abaddon Black color. Even if we already used the black primer for the base, since the black will be showing the final miniature, it's nice to paint a layer of the acrylic base to avoid the primer from peeling. When you apply, you can't really see the difference of the colors between the primer and the painting, and it's the paint that you want to show up. When you apply, you can really see the difference of the colors between the primer and the paint. Cover the whole miniature except the base of the model. After the base dried, we will apply the first gray part with the Dawnstone dry color. I'm using a bigger brush for that part since the model is kind of flat and the details aren't small. Take the paint and remove the excess on the paper. If you're unsure if the paint isn't properly removed, you start with hidden parts of the model, like the back, until you're confident that the amount of paint is good. It's better to start with less paint than more. Go against the texture so the paint sticks to the elevated areas of the model. Continue applying through the whole model. After the dark gray part has dried, we will do another dry layer, now with Longbeard Grey. The stone is lighter and we will apply on the outer areas of the model, leaving the center darker. Same type of brush and same technique. When you get to the part of the wings, do the center lighter and let the external parts of the wings darker to give volume to the wings. No need to apply on the sword, neither hair or horns. Now that the base is done, we will paint the sword and hair with the Corax White. Dissolve the paint and use a medium brush to start painting. You can paint the horns and eyebrows as well, even though we will paint the horns another color afterwards. Because we are painting white on the black, it will take a few layers to cover it fully. After the white layer has dried, we will work on the bones of the wings next, or at least my interpretation of the bones. For that, I'll use Administratum Grey. I painted another king with Wraithbone and it ended up like this, but I like the results of the Administratum Grey better. Also, having this small details difference can help putting a bit of personality on the kings during the fight. Using a smaller brush will help on this part because of the small details. Work on the top and bottom of the bones until everything is finished. Time to paint the horns and sword hilt with the Wraithbone. Again, as we are using a lighter tone over a black base, we will need more than one layer to make the color shine through. Alternate between small and medium brushes to paint all the areas of the miniature. With a few layers, the wraith bone will look like this. We are almost done with the model, but we want to add some shades to the sword blade with the administratum grey. It will take a few layers, so patience is key. Start with the grey closest to the bone and start dragging to the middle of the sword. Keep adding layers until you have a nice fade. The last part is shading all of the model with new oil. Apply on everything but the sword blade that we already did the gradient. I won't get into much detail since I'm still testing with the varnish, but I used a layer of this matte varnish to dim the shine of the new oil that gives the skull finish. To give a bit of differentiation between kings, I'll add the numbers on the base with Corex white. Just before starting, I added the Abaddon black on the base, and I'll use this small brush to add some Roman numbers with the indications of the front of the miniature. And this is the final result. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and see you next time.